NYYST.
Holla, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here, ain't stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise here, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas.
Welcome back. This is episode 445 of the NYYST podcast. We're live on NYY Underground. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm with my co-host, Sem.
What's up?
What's up is that the New York Yankees have two former players just recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ichiro Suzuki, one vote shy of unanimous induction. And it's just ridiculous that he's not a unanimous Hall of Famer. And CC Sabathia was in the 80th percentile, I think, somewhere around there. As Pete and I debated a couple weeks ago, would CC get in? And CC Sabathia is, in fact, a Hall of Famer. So congratulations to the two former Yankees. We're going to talk a little bit about CC in just a quick second. But before we do that, chat, you guys were live. And then when I mean live last week. So let's bring the energy again this week. And if you're there, please like this video and subscribe to NYY Underground. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform on Friday morning, please subscribe there as well. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. And tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. So CC Sabathia in the Hall of Fame. Are you surprised by that?
No.
Okay, so we're going to do one-word answers today. Okay.
100%.
All right, so that's 2 words. Okay, you want to build a sentence here?
No, why would you be surprised to see CC in the Hall of Fame? CC is the man. I love CC.
So, because if you look at his overall numbers, did he ever truly dominate the game? And I know that's what the Hall of Fame should be, the best of the best. And I think CC Sabathia is well deserving of the accolade of being called a Hall of Famer. The things that I love about CC, obviously, is the teammate that he was, what he meant to the Yankees when he came here. Okay, it's very rare, and we're still waiting, Garrett. Okay, not that it's all his fault, but and you know I love Garrett Cole, but it's very rare when you go out there and at the time you set a record-breaking contract to bring a superstar player in, and it pays immediate dividends. And the Yankees won out big game hunting in the offseason after they missed the postseason in 2008, and the biggest fish they brought back was CC Sabathia. And he immediately paid the Yankees off there. He was the ALCS MVP. He was every bit the ace this team needed. The Yankees won the World Series in 2009, thanks in large part to CC Sabathia. You know, I would have loved to have seen CC get another one, but, you know, we're still waiting. But, you know, it's very rare that immediately pays off. And CC just showed you who he was even a year previous in a walk year, getting traded at the deadline as a rental. He put the Milwaukee Brewers on his back, pitching every third day, or I should say on 3 days rest to get them into the postseason. They don't build them like CC Sabathia anymore. When you look up workhorse in the dictionary, a picture of CC Sabathia is going to be next to that word. Guys don't pitch 240 innings. CC did that multiple times in his career. You know, people devalue wins. I don't. I still think it's an important stat for pitchers. Maybe not the most important stat. Maybe not as important as it used to be. But I don't know if we'll ever, like we talk about guys not getting to 300. I don't know if anybody's going to get to 250 the way baseball is now. CC got there. He got the golden mark of 3,000 strikeouts. So he's well deserving. You know, I've seen people say, how could you put CC in over this guy? Don't disrespect CC Sabathia. He deserves it. Just because other guys aren't there doesn't mean CC doesn't deserve to be there. This guy was the definition of an ace, definition of a workhorse. He's got the numbers to back it up. CC Sabathia belongs in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations. He'll be enshrined in later in 2025.
He's a great teammate too. You know, when he almost gave up, what was it? It was an incentive, his contract, the clause where he beamed the other player in retaliation, sticking up for his own teammate.
No, he
He was
did
gonna
give it up. He knew full well that he needed
yes, and
whatever how but
he did what
to
he
the
had to do as
Yankees
a teammate.
to the Yankees credit, they paid
Yes,
him
they did.
the bonus. He thought that protecting his teammate and standing up for his teammate was more important than $500,000.
Yeah. What was it? Was it another 5 innings, five
No, it
pitches?
was even less than that. I think he needed to complete that inning that he was
Oh,
in.
it was amazing. I remember watching it. That was exciting. That's one of the moments that got me back into baseball because I had just started loosely watching it, and CC got me so fired up when he did that, and it just
You and I share blood, and you'd sell me down the river for $50. This guy stood up for a teammate for $500,000. It's amazing, and that's just the type of guy CC is. That's why when people want to,
that's who you want in your team.
that exactly every single time the Yankees got into a scuffle, uh, while CC was a Yankee, he's one of the first ones out of the dugout. He's ready to go. He always had his teammates back, and I know that's not a true credential for being a Hall of Famer, but it's just why you respect CC Sabathia so much.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. He always got you fired up. You saw him. He left it all on the field. He went out there, gave it his all. Drunk, sober, fat, skinny. CC's awesome.
Well, CC was not a good pitcher that year that he lost all that
Oh,
weight, and they had to put it back on, and then he became closer to who he was, and then yeah, he did miss the postseason that one year when he was in rehab, and thankfully he's gotten that taken care of. So, well deserving of the honor. And I always think back to the end of Rocky Balboa when going into the final round when his son says to him, "Pop, there's no more you don't have to prove anymore." And Rocky says to him, "I got to go out the way I got to go out." And that's the way CC Sabathia went out in the 2019 ALCS. He literally pitched till his arm fell off.
yes, he
And
did.
somebody asked him, is that a really, I'm paraphrasing, is that a shitty way to go out, knowing that 2019 was going to be the last year of his career, and CC was basically, demoted to being a mop-up guy, a bullpen arm. Yankees were using him as a lefty specialist in the postseason, and they said to him, is that a really shitty way to go out, knowing that you left due to injury? He goes, "No, I literally pitched till my arm fell off. There's no better way to go out." He went out the way he had to go out. He went out knowing he had nothing left to give. That's a hell of a way to walk off a baseball field. Cy Young Award winner, World Series champion, literally giving everything that your body had to give and knowing that it was your time. So congratulations to CC Sabathia uh, on an amazing accomplishment being in the Hall of Fame. And congratulations also to Ichiro. CC said he's going in as a Yankee. He said the Bronx is home. So I know that's triggering a lot of Cleveland fans, but I don't obviously we're not expecting Ichiro to go in as a Yankee, but that's still like a fever dream. Ichiro as a New York Yankee that he spent like a year and a half here.
Yeah, that's when I wasn't even watching baseball. I don't know much about that. I can't even speak on that. That's all you.
That's just it was bizarre. It's just one of those bizarre things that you look back on that Ichiro was a New York Yankee.
Yeah, see, so he was what, one vote shy?
One vote shy of being unanimous.
Yeah, CC was at like 80, just shy
Actually, it was
percent.
he was here for 2.5 years. He got traded here at the 2012 deadline. I didn't even realize that. So that's an interesting time in Yankee history for Ichiro. He gets here traded at 2012 as kind of like to help the Yankees make a push to the postseason, and then he's there to kind of over and kind of the that always like that weird period where it's the end of Mariano Rivera, it's the end of Derek Jeter before things started to, excuse me, kind of turn the page a little bit, bringing up some of the newer, younger players there. So, yeah, Danny Nebbia with the super chat. Uh, Also, CC gave up 550. Yeah, we brought that to have Romines back. Um, yeah, I had somebody in the chat wants to know why we're not bringing up Mariano Rivera because what do you want to bring up? You know, it's alleged right now. I hope to God it's not true. And if it is, then that just tarnishes who he is as a human being and obviously his legacy as a baseball player. But, you know, also innocent till proven guilty. It's not a criminal case, it's a civil case. There's a lot to still unpack here of what exactly happened and if the Riveras are culpable in any way. So that's what it is. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and
Slander somebody.
slander somebody on accusations like a lot of people on social media did yesterday when the story really gained some traction when the Daily News picked it up. I hope to God that it's not true, not only because of how big of a fan of I am of Mariano Rivera, but also for that young child. Like you just hope that that's something that didn't happen, or that somebody in a position of power didn't cover something like that up. That's just a despicable thing to happen. And if you knew about it, to not go to the authorities for whatever reason. But again, we don't know anything. They're being named in a lawsuit, not in a criminal suit. So you know, that's basically where we're at right now. And like Pete said, well, you want to spend an hour on accusations? That's we're not going to do that. So if something more comes up of it, yeah, we're not going to ignore it. But there's really nothing to talk about right now. It's a heinous thing to accuse somebody of. So honestly, I almost want it to be true in a sense that you know how could you accuse somebody of something like that with no basis for it? You know, that's almost worse than not that it's worse than a crime itself, but it's a pretty terrible thing to label somebody as that, you know?
Yeah, it's gross.
So that's all we really need to talk about on that for right now. But yes, the CC and Ichiro uh are in the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to both of them. And Tim Gautreau, did I say that right, buddy? I hope I did. Drop in a super chat. Don't want to butcher your name. Seems like every time Yanks went through a rough stretch, CC showed up with an 8 inning, 120 pitch win to get us going again, and that's a definition of an ace. That's what I would, what I want. One of the things I missed when I was talking about CC there is that there's nobody, no, there's literally nobody that you could think of that you wanted the ball in their hand when the Yankees were going through a rough stretch. You wanted CC on the mound to get the Yankees going again, to have a night where you knew that the Yankees were winning this game. They could have lost 4 out of their last 5, and CC's taking the mound. You know what? We're going to get it going again. We're going to win this game tonight. And that's who CC Sabathia was, man. For a guy that's not homegrown, and he grew into being a it's not a homegrown Yankee, but he's a Yankee, and the Yankees should honor him also by retiring 52.
An adopted Yankee.
He's an adopted. That's true. That's a good way there. He's an adopted. He belongs in out of with some of the guys in Monument Park. I have a problem with a bunch of them. CC Sabathia belongs in Monument Park.
19 seasons, over 3,000 strikeouts. The guy, he was such a great pitcher. They say he was a real leader in the clubhouse too. He still when you listen to him on podcasts and all that stuff, he talks about being a Yankee. You could tell he actually loved being a Yankee. He's a good guy. I enjoy watching him still to this day. Sometimes I watch their podcasts and stuff that he's on. His
I used to love his podcast, but I couldn't stand Bruco. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. He's like, yeah, we get it. You're who you are, and like you don't have to fanboy CC Sabathia. Like, you're doing a podcast with him. Like, chill out, dude.
I couldn't know who I can't stand. Boomer and Geo yesterday morning,
I know.
and
I
not
texted you.
and
Texted
not
you.
knowing what that Paul Skeens card was. It just blew my mind. I was like screaming at my radio. I had to turn it off.
So if things aren't good enough for Dodger fans, an 11-year-old Dodger fan pulled the 101 debut patch of Paul Skeens,
It's unreal.
and
It grades a
it
10,
grades a 10.
which is wild.
Yeah, I know. I understand that not everybody is a collector, but you got to know why that card is so coveted. You can't be on the radio saying it's an autograph card. No, it's not. There's hundreds of autograph, probably thousands of autograph Paul Skeens cards. First of all, it's a one of one, and
That
it's
is
got
the one of one.
that's the one of one. It's got the debut patch on it.
That's why it's the one of one. If you want rookie cards, that is the Paul Skeens rookie card to have. That that is the creme de la creme, top of the mountain. And for them not to know that, I mean, like Boomer, I get it because he probably was signing cards and didn't have any of that shit back then. But now,
Well,
oh
Boomer admitted. Did you hear that part? He signs cards for Panini.
yeah, he's in there, so he gets paid. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay. Well,
Get
then
that bag, bro.
okay, so know what
You
a
should know.
one-on-one is.
Yeah, no. He's like, that's what he said. Oh, they probably have another one of them. He can't have another one made. No, you can't have your debut patch made all over again. That's a crazy money grab and good for Tops. That's like one hell of a
Yeah,
marketing.
because who was it? Yoendris Gomez? Was that who we saw? You
I don't
showed
know.
me. It had to have been him. I think it was Yoendris Gomez. I was like, because I was thinking, like, what low level nobody Yankee could I get a one of one to get that debut patch for maybe like a
Oh,
hundred
yes.
a
Yeah.
hundred bucks or something like that. Like nobody's gonna give a shit about him. Maybe I could just to be would be cool to have in your
And
collection.
they were still asking what, like
Eight
grand?
hundred
Oh,
dollars.
it was
Eight
800. Yeah.
hundred dollars for Yoendris Gomez, the debut patch. It's fucking nuts.
Ungraded. Just raw card. That's wild.
Would you
Yeah.
take the 30 years of season tickets for the Pirates and sit with Livy Dunn in the suite? Would you take that?
No. I'd sell it, give it to Golden and tell him to sell it for me.
I would take the $1 million and buy Livy Dunn. How about that?
No. When they want to give you like Paul Skeens autograph
Yeah,
jersey.
I think it's like 30 years of season tickets behind home plate. You get two Skeens autographed jerseys. They'll host a charity softball game with 30 people for you, and there was like some other novelties, and then you'll sit in one of the games. You'll sit in a suite with Livy,
In Pittsburgh, though.
and he kid's 11. Like, do you think he's gonna know what to do with Livy Dunn at 11 years old?
If I buy my kid a pack of cards and he opens it, it's not his, it's mine. Sorry. How I don't know. That's wild. Would that come out of update? It's not got a Chrome. That's an update, see,
No,
right?
it's were they in? I think they were in Chrome. I don't know.
Oh,
I
they're in
think that's what I
Chrome?
saw people were
They're in
pulling
Chrome. Now how
Chrome
much a
update.
friggin' hobby box of Chrome costs? That's insane.
I think I was seeing people pulling them out of Chrome update.
Yeah, I don't even buy that stuff. It's like stupid priced. Like you want
Well,
a jumbo hobby box, it's like over 400 bucks.
well, that kid's set for life now, man. That card's
Yeah,
gonna go
man.
for
He's going
that
through
card's
college.
going for life-changing money. It's going for $1 million. It has to.
Somebody'll pay you.
I thought wasn't there like $1 million bounty on that card? Didn't one of the big breakers or somebody offer?
Guilt bomb or somebody probably, yeah.
I would put it in an auction house. Why not?
Did they pull the Volpe one yet?
Volpe got pulled a long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
Volpe got pulled. I don't know if anybody sold it or what it could have went for, but
I'm sure.
yeah, those cards. I would have, like I said, I would have loved to have one just in my collection. But when Yoendris Gomez is going for $800, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably never going to own one.
Yeah, no. I'm good. I don't need it. I don't need anything that bad. So I think Dominguez is one. I don't know if Dominguez is. I think his came out last year too. It's got to be out there because it wouldn't
No,
be this year.
was it in my, no, I think it was in this year's.
I don't know. See, that all confuses me too because technically did he play enough games for it to be considered his rookie year?
No, but it's a debut patch.
Yeah, but that's on a rookie card. I don't get that. I don't understand how they do that.
I don't know. He doesn't. No, he doesn't. He still has rookie status going into the season, but I mean, you can't
Like
make.
Ellie De La Cruz, his first card was considered a call up, and then they didn't print his rookie card to the next season. But all these other guys, they all got rookie cards already.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just roasting somebody in the chat right now because they would choose the 30 years of Pittsburgh games over sitting with Livy.
I don't want to go to. Who wants to go to Pittsburgh? I don't want to go to Pennsylvania.
Actually, you want to know what, dude? We should take a road trip out there once because it is a beautiful place to watch a baseball game. That stadium is immaculate. It's
Okay,
one of the top rated stadiums in baseball. I would love to catch a game out there.
I'm not a Pennsylvania fan. The whole state is NASCAR and shitty drivers.
Okay, but this
Mhm.
is okay. We can go to, we don't have to go to NASCAR in Pittsburgh. We'll go to,
No, they all have NASCAR stickers on their car and they drive like they're in a friggin' NASCAR race. That's why I stay out of Pennsylvania and their cheesesteaks suck.
I have literally never dealt with anybody using the roads of Philadelphia like a NASCAR raceway
Maybe not
before.
Philadelphia, but go to I don't know, Kunkletown.
Oh, we were shouting out Kunkletown now?
Kunkletown. Go to Kunkletown and see how people drive. I get nervous out there. Kunkletown.
Yes,
What's intercourse? I don't need to go to.
yeah, Kunkletown's a real place.
Yeah,
We've been there.
many times. Meth
Uh,
labs, explosions.
you can't say that on
Oh,
YouTube.
whatever.
All right. So anyway, like we mentioned, if things weren't good enough for Dodger fans, that 11-year-old pulled the Skeens 1 of 1, and the Dodgers are just continuing doing Dodger things as they signed Tanner Scott since we last spoke, and then I haven't seen it made official anywhere, but they were either close or getting to an agreement with Kirby Yates. So I mean, the Dodgers are
The
out
Avengers.
there. They are literally assembling the Avengers of Major League Baseball. They are, and that leads a lot of people to say the Dodgers are bad for baseball. No, what's bad for baseball is when billionaires don't spend money. When people like the guy that owns the A's, his name's escaping me right now. Uh,
I just
that
looked at.
they have to overpay Luis Severino because they're going to have a grievance filed against him with the Players Association for not spending enough money. When the guy who owns the Cleveland Guardians is trading away Josh Naylor because he can't afford to pay him, despite being in the ALCS last year, that's what's bad for baseball. Not what the Dodgers are doing, man. You know what? And I say this all the time. I wish the Yankees would adopt this sort of attitude of whatever it takes. The Dodgers won the World Series last year, okay? And they got a taste of it. They got a taste of what it was like to win the World Series. In 2020, yeah, like I said, if the Yankees won in 2020, I'm not giving it back, but it's not the same thing, right? They won the World Series last year, and all it did is make them want it more. You have to respect that. That's not bad for baseball when teams want to go out there and spend and get better. Every other team in Major League Baseball should have that sort of attitude. Teams that don't win should be doing what the Dodgers are doing, not the Dodgers who could have repeated without even doing anything.
Well, I mean, the Dodgers doing what they're doing is what subsidizes baseball teams like the A's and all this shit. They take that, and that's the real problem of it all. These teams don't spend money. You take the luxury tax, it gets divvied up between whatever teams gets what, and then they pocket said money. That money should be forced to be spent on players, whether it be free agency or signings or upgrades to their stadiums. That's the real problem. So who do you have? You have the Dodgers, you have the Yankees, you have the Mets, and they're subsidizing all these shit teams. And they're shit teams because their owners don't want to spend money. They just want to take the money in and not spend any out. So why I that's where I understand why I would be pissed off as an owner if I was Hal Steinbrenner. Like, why the hell am I going to go over the luxury tax so the owner of the A's could pocket more money, or so the owner of Pittsburgh can pocket more money? The most money that they're going to fucking spend for the most part of it is trying to get that card from that kid in LA. That's what it's ridiculous. That's something that needs to be fixed in baseball. You want to make it more competitive? Make the teams spend the money. If you don't spend the money, it should go back to the teams that went over the luxury tax, or it should be given to fucking charity. I don't care. But you can't sit there and tell me, oh, I get this money, I keep it now.
Well, that's the thing, right? Okay, let's say you walk into the convenience store, right? And you have a Kit Kat in your hand, and it says $1 on the sticker. But when you go to the register, the guy tells you that's going to cost $2 because Timmy doesn't have any money and you do, and you have to give Timmy $1. That's basically what the luxury tax is. But Timmy is supposed to then take that dollar and buy himself a Kit Kat. But what Timmy is doing is just putting that dollar in his pocket to then go do whatever the hell he feels like with. That is what the luxury tax was meant for, is to for competitive balance. Okay, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, you want to spend 300, 400 million dollars, fine, we're going to tax you on that. You're going to have to supplement these lower income teams, but then lower income teams, you got to take that money and spend it on players, and they don't do that. And that's what the biggest problem is, because if the Yankees paid 20 million dollars in luxury tax, and let's say, for argument's sake, 5 million went to the A's, and the A's don't increase their payroll by $5 million. Why? If you're Hal Steinbrenner, you got to be saying, I must be fucking dumb to do something like that. Any of
Exactly.
these owners should be saying that. Like, why? Why should I be taking money out of my pocket to give to somebody that doesn't reinvest it into his team, which is not in the spirit of what the luxury tax is?
No, it's like, okay, I sign Aaron Judge for X amount of dollars, and now I have to pay off all the other teams because I want him. That's not how it should work. They need to be forced to spend said money, use it or lose it. And it needs to be in addition to what they have. They can't shouldn't be able to factor it in somehow. It really is. It's outlandish. It's really stupid.
So the
It's really
CBA is coming up within the next year or so. So what instead of limiting what teams like the Dodgers want to do, why don't you create a salary floor to force these teams to spend a certain amount of money? Hey, if your payroll isn't $100 million, I don't know, take draft picks away from them, because that's how they want to survive. That's what they want to do, is get cheap young players, and then when they start making money, send them off somewhere. Okay, you have to spend $100 million on payroll. If not, we're taking away your first round draft pick.
exactly. And the players will want that. They'll want something. They're going to want to change something about it because ultimately that leads to their higher salaries.
Exactly. If you know the A's have to spend more money, then that means it's another team that you can go to that has money to spend.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The more I know how it works, and then I started reading about it, and like everybody that looks at what the Dodgers is doing wrong, like, and they're saying that that is the problem, that is nowhere even near the issue as much as the other teams not spending, because that's why there's no competitiveness. That's why you can roll. Like my coworker's been to the Marlins Stadium. He said is probably one of the biggest shitholes he's ever been to.
They
That's
have
a
the
low.
lowest payroll in baseball. It's about
Why?
$76 million dollars.
They got to get a big cut of all the luxury tax. Why aren't they upgrading their stadium?
I don't know.
Look at the Rays. Rays too, lower salary, right? Their
Razor at
stadium
80, Razor at 85, I
got a
believe.
shitty ass stadium. They had the roof blown off of it. Now they're gonna play in George Steinbrenner Field. Like, these teams are not spending money. Now it's good. Okay, you could develop your prospects and you want to save money there. But if you're not gonna at least put it into your players, you should at least have to have a nice stadium, because people shouldn't be going to your stadium and then have to deal with shit amenities. Like, I don't want to go into a garbage stadium. I'm paying good money to watch a baseball game. It's not fair to the owners that spend the money, and it's not fair to the fans. They want to know, oh, why is viewership down? Maybe it has something to do with your team just sucking and not your owner being greedy and not spending money. Like, hi, like, am I the first one to come up with that idea? I don't think so. Like, this has to be common knowledge. Manfred needs to get off his ass and tell these guys to do something. Like, enough.
Well, I'm sure that's going to be collectively bargained. That has to be in the next CBA. There has to be a salary for whatever number they feel comfortable throwing out there. Hey, you don't want to spend, fine, but we're going to take draft picks away because we know that's how you really want to operate, and that's not fair to the players, and it's not fair to the fans, because you want to put out you want fans to go there and enjoy the product. And you don't want to you're not putting the money into the team. And you shouldn't be penalizing teams that want to spend the money either, because that's just ridiculous.
No, and you got teams. Okay, I never been to City Field, but they say City Field's gorgeous. Like, I want to go to City Field because I want to go there because they say it's really nice. You walk into the to Yankee Stadium, the place, it's not the nicest place in the world, but you know it's Yankee Stadium. They branded the place the right way. They spend the money where it needs to be spent. I, what would you do if you walk into if you walked into a stadium? It was almost like Somerset Patriots. Like, what if you're an Oakland A's fan? You're gonna go watch. Are they playing in a minor league field or is it a college field?
Yeah, it's a minor league field, I believe.
Like, what do you do if you're a fan and that's what you're gonna go to? It's legit. You're going to watch it at the Patriots at TD Park. I would be so pissed. Are they gonna reduce the price of the tickets, or are they gonna charge the same thing because they gotta pay their players. They're going to charge you the same, and it's ridiculous. Now, oh, they're going to build a new stadium, but they should have built a new stadium how long ago?
I don't know. We got DJ Steels with the super chat. DJ Steelio, he says a general talent like the generational prostitute who wore 22 for the Yankees went into free agency, and only what, 4 or 5 teams were really after him. That's a huge problem in baseball away from the field. And that's true. When a guy like that is on the open market, he should have at least 20 competitive offers.
He should not be. It should not be limited because of money. I mean, obviously there's going to be limitations, but there were so many people not even in there because of how much money he was going to get. That shouldn't be the issue. If you're not in on that guy, it should be because you just don't need anybody in that position. You already got somebody signed that's going to play right field long term, or you already have a really good DH or something like that. You should not be taking yourself out of the equation because of money. These teams need to spend. They all have it. Don't sit there and tell me that they don't. All the owners are billionaires, multi-millionaires to billionaires. I think
None of them are gonna go broke anytime soon.
yeah, I think the owner of the Oakland A's has like the biggest baseball card collection. I think it's him. He's got like owners
He's way too rich to treat that team the way he does.
right. I mean, he's like, I think he has like a graded 10 Honus Wagner card or something like that.
You know how much money you need to have to even own a Major League Baseball team?
Yes.
Don't cry for any of these guys. That's why when people are bitching about how much the players make, do you know how much money the owners have? Honestly.
And then they go and they take their money, they sit into an account someplace where it's growing interest on it anyway, and they make more. They have more money than everybody we'll ever meet in our lives put together. It will never accumulate the amount of wealth that these people have.
Please, you're never going to have to take up a collection for any major league owner.
No,
you're not going to have to do that. They choose
spend the money.
They choose not to spend, not because they can't spend.
And now it's nice sometimes, sometimes it's nice to go and watch a game like, oh, hey, the Yankees are playing blah, blah. Again, we'll go to the A's because they're the easy target. The Yankees are playing the A's. We should smoke them. I don't really want to watch that game as much. I'm not as excited because, like, it's pretty much a predetermined outcome half the time. But like, that's not what I want to watch. That takes the excitement out of it. And again, that leads you right back to the whole, why is viewership down? Why is it not like it was in the past? Who the hell wants to watch that? I mean, it happens to the same thing when you watch football. How many people stop watching football because they got tired of seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Shit.
Nobody's gotten tired of watching football. The Giants won 3 games this year. Dallas had one of their worst seasons in a long time. And that game set records for viewership on Thanksgiving.
Well, they're out of their freaking minds. I mean, I watched that game too, though, but I don't even watch football anymore.
Exactly. Okay, so you watched
it. It was on, and I didn't have the remote.
Baseball is a regional sport, and it's going to get even more regionalized this year because you have 3 or 4 teams that can really compete this year. It's the Yankees in the American League. Obviously the Dodgers. I don't want to give the Mets the credit. I really don't, because I don't think they're good enough to be a championship team. And it's not, again, it has nothing to do with who they signed. It's who they haven't signed. Their pitching staff is trash.
Trash.
Sean Manaea, David Peterson, Kodai Senga, Clay Holmes, and Frankie Montas. That's your 5?
I'm a garbage man. I know trash when I see it. And that's trash.
I mean, you put all that money into one guy, and that's your starting rotation. And then somebody's going to go, yeah, well, the Yankees re-signed them. Yeah, but we still had fucking Garrett Cole, Clark Schmidt and Luis Heel and Carlos Rodon. Like, even if we had re-signed them, our pitching staff is still pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, we just signed two pitchers off waivers today. I saw two right-handers.
Yeah, one guy from Atlanta's ERA is 15.
Yeah, and Tim Hill still isn't signed.
And the other guy was a former prospect. I forget his name now. Roenzi Contreras, I think it was.
Yeah,
The guy they got from Atlanta, his ERA is literally 15.
I don't know, but I, you know, I Steve Cohen went out and he spent, but then he needed to spend more and he stopped. And I got coworkers that are Mets fans, and I love busting their chops because they were so stoked, and now the Avengers are just assembling and assembling out there in LA, and ha, it's
But
it's
that's the
unreal.
thing, right? They got the best player on the market. They said there's 800. I would be stunned if he doesn't opt into it after the 5 years. An $800 million contract, right? Ridiculous numbers, and he deserves it. I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve it. Anybody that says he doesn't, again, go back to what we just said of what these owners are making billions. Yeah, the people that produce the product on the field deserve the money. So,
How much money are they going to make off selling his jersey?
yeah, exactly.
He's paid for, dude. He's paid for.
But the whole point is that they haven't done Dick since then. Okay, AJ Minter's a nice ad for them, but you can't tell me that this is a championship team with Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes in the starting rotation.
They're going to come out and be studs, and we're going to look like idiots.
No, I'm not going to look. I'm telling you right now, Clay Holmes is not going to pitch above a four starter. He's just not going to do it.
Uh, I think
Asking a lot, bro. Clay
yeah.
Holmes,
Cardiac Clay.
and I
He
like.
took years off my life, and I just can't even. I can't find a good thing to say about him.
And that's the thing, right? When you got guys like Max Fried and Corbin Burns and Blake Snell on the market, and you're the Mets, and those are the pitching additions that you make.
Yeah, you signed Juan Soto, 22. Sorry, I know.
It's
Money in the
$5 in a swear
money in the
jar.
jar. But you go out and you sign 22, and then that's like your biggest moves. It's like, what, how lackluster is that? The people are gonna look back on this and be like, ugh. They'll be calling for Cohen to sell the team next year. I could see it.
Do you know the Yankees actually, as of today, have a higher payroll than the Mets do?
That's wild.
So as everybody likes to bitch at Hal, like he treats the Cohen tax like a hard cap. Cohen treats the Cohen tax as a cap. The Mets are not willing to really go over this. And as Andy Martino reported, and if they do, it's not by much because why didn't you? Let's knock my headphones out. Why didn't you sign one of the aces that was on the open market? Your pitching is the weakest part of your team.
Yeah, but
You Why are you pinching pennies with Pete Alonso, who's been the face of your franchise for the last 6 years? If money meant nothing to the Mets, Pete Alonso would be here. They'd have one of Snell, Fried, or Burns. Obviously they see money as an issue. There is some type of budget in Queens. The only place that there's really no budget is in Los Angeles because their taxable payroll this year is $375 million. And
yeah,
imagine what it would be if it wasn't with the deferrals. Even Tanner Scott got deferrals. It was a $72 million contract, $20 million signing bonus, $20 million deferred.
yeah.
So
They're just that's just really creative. I mean, like that they're doing all that shit. And I want to know how they're getting all these players to accept the deferrals. How do they sweet talk him into that?
it's winning, man. I guess,
They just want to go
they
get a
want to
ring.
win. They just want to collect all the Infinity Stones and be part of the gauntlet.
The
I don't
Infinity
know.
Gauntlet. That's what they're gonna do, man. If in 2 years, if they don't win in the next 2 years, 2 3 years, and that's not on a T-shirt, the Infinity Gauntlet with all their rings, I'm gonna call their
Well,
marketing
Kyle
team.
Malay in the chat just said, if the Yankees had re-signed him, they'd probably do the same thing. But I don't know about that. The one thing they definitely don't do is I can pretty much say that they're not signing Max Fried. So it's 22 plus everything else they did, or no 22, no Cody Bell, and they probably don't trade for Bellinger. There's probably no need for him, right? So it's no Fried and no Bellinger, but you have 22. because they can still easily make the Devin Williams trade because they traded Nestor Cortez, so the money evened out
Yeah.
basically. You know, they know they threw Milwaukee a couple bucks as a sweetener probably, but
No,
you know
I don't think.
they could still trade for Devin Williams. It's not anything that they were would have kept them from bringing him back. Would have kept them from doing that.
Yeah. I, he, ha- I was nervous about it, but that had to be factored in when they traded for him, that they knew that they were going to spend X amount of dollars on him and they were still going to have to go out and spend. So I think they would have done something. I don't think it would not have been what all the players that they got now, but I don't think it would have been
They
nothing.
still needed a first baseman. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, unless they were really going to tighten the purse and then give it to Ben Rice.
Which I mean, I could see them doing that too, because some
I don't
stuff.
know. I just think really we probably don't have Max Fried in that situation. I think everything else they've done is obviously still feasible. But, you know, like we're still need an infielder. We still need a left-handed reliever, and they're sitting on their hands because they don't want to go over 301. They can't get rid of Marcus Stroman. They need the money in the budget, and it's just not happening at the moment right now. What do we got here? Eric Clary out with the super chat says the Mets could have gotten an ace. Stearns doesn't like long deals for pitchers. He also probably doesn't want to pay number 22 until he's 41, but the owner wanted it, and that's why it was done. And the owner could have overrode Stearns and said, "Hey, I want an ace on this team also." So, I mean, I understand that's Stearns's you know, MO for pitchers. He doesn't like long-term deals. He doesn't like signing guys in their 30s. I get it, but Steve Cohen was really this wild fucking billionaire, crazy spender. Who David Stearns is going to tell him no to Corbin Burns?
Yeah. I don't know, but they needed to do. They needed to re-sign Alonso, and then it would have been like, okay, you're good. Without re-signing Alonso, everything looks like, ugh, it just looks like
I mean, and just to prove to you that they don't want to spend as much money as everybody thinks that they're willing to spend, they're pinching pennies with Pete Alonso. They need this guy in that lineup.
they're off
He's
like $20 million, I think.
the face of their franchise. So, you know, everybody wants to give Hal shit about that luxury tax number. Steve Cohen is giving himself the same bounds. The Mets
Yeah.
have holes to fill, and they're not filling them because of that number.
No, but like none of them want to go out and give the other people money. Like if you put a fence up around your house, do you want to give your neighbor money to put up a fence around his house too? Because that's what the freaking the luxury tax is. It's stupid. That's what these guys. The more I think about it, the less I would be willing to go over it myself. No
Okay,
one
you know
wants to pay
what?
taxes.
You know, with somebody Li saying, "Oh, he wanted to go home to Arizona." Okay, you know what talks Li? Fucking money. Guess where Garrett Cole wanted to be before the Yankees came in and dropped the treasure chest in front of him and Amy? California. Guess where CC Sabathia wanted to be before the Yankees backed the Brinks truck up in his to him and Amber? California. Money talks, okay? Max Fried, let's what? We're all gonna love him. He's gonna You're right. We're all warm and fuzzy about Max Fried. Guess why he's a Yankee? Record breaking contract. That's what set them apart. Okay. He didn't come out here for some love for the Yankees. Money talks. And this is what I tell Met fans, right? Oh, he loves us. He loves us so much. He hated you guys. You guys were mean to him. Fuck you, you loser. He's there because of money. That's
Yeah,
what you
I'm
guys
at
don't
my job.
understand. That's what
I'm
you
at
guys
my
don't
job because they
understand
love
about these
me.
players.
I go to work every day because my job loves me. It has nothing to do with the money. It's just because they love me and I love them.
Very rarely do you get a guy that stays for less money. Aaron Judge did,
Aaron
but guess
Judge.
what? He's getting paid $40 million a year to play baseball. It's not like the Yankees said, "Hey, dickhead, we're going to pay you $13 an hour." You know,
Yeah.
money talks in these situations. You don't think if Steve Cohen dropped a fucking bag in front of Corbin Burns, he's going to be like, "Oh, I live in New York now."
Yeah. Absolutely.
It takes a special person to really say no to that type of money. DJ Steels, what's up, bro? He says, watching Christian going after the same guy who literally chose going to a ballpark over getting Livy is the peak of my night. Yeah, you know. Well, he started it earlier today on social media when he said that the poll we ran was literally the dumbest thing he's ever seen when we've all seen his trade proposals. So, I mean, that was actually pretty comical to me. So, thank you for the laugh. Okay. But we let's get to the main event here of the show, and that's should Hal Steinbrenner sell the Yankees? Ran a poll on social media on X, and if you're not following us, please do at NYYST underscore podcast. Should Hal sell the Yankees? And this seems like a random question to ask, but not really because after Creed, dog's eating fucking. Is it just me, or is there? Your dogs eat shit off the floor, right? That's a dog thing, right?
No,
It's just me.
it's just you. My dog is a well-trained machine. He doesn't
So,
eat anything off the
so
floor.
he's the Ivan Drago of dogs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Nah, he's not Russian though. He's German.
Okay.
I don't know who's. He's the Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah,
Such an overrated movie.
you're an asshole.
And so we ran the poll. Should Hal sell Brian? Again, let me stop stuttering here for a minute. Too many yeses there. Should Hal Steinbrenner sell the Yankees? And 52% of the fans voted that he should sell the Yankees. And why did we ask this question on a random Thursday in January? Well, because after the Dodgers were done dodgering again this weekend, it brings out the Yankee fans like, Hal's still got to sell the team. Hal's got to sell the team. So let's talk about it. Should Hal Steinbrenner sell the Yankees? Are you happy with him as the owner of the New York Yankees? Mr. Season Ticket holder, who you are putting money directly into his pocket. Are you happy with Hal Steinbrenner as the owner of the New York Yankees?
I am, or else I wouldn't have bought the tickets. I'm already sticking up for him. Like I said, the guy cannot want to spend money and then just hand it out to his competition. Like I said, it's not even for the betterment of the team, the game. It's just to betterment of the team's owners. That's where it goes. So I can't get on him for not spending the money. When I really needed him to put up or shut up, he put up and he got Aaron Judge to sign. That was 22 in my eyes, the hell with him. I'm Judges by leaps and bounds my guy. I couldn't care about the other guy in the grand scheme of things.
Well,
Yeah,
as DJ Steele said earlier, 22 is just a prostitute, and Aaron Judge is our homegrown Yankee.
exactly. And he went out, and when he had to, he put his money where his mouth is, and he did what he had to do. You can't listen. I don't want to hear. Oh well, George is rolling in his grave. I don't want to hear this shit anymore. How long the guy's been dead for? How long? Move
Did
on.
he die in 2010? I want to
I
say.
think it's 2010, so he's been gone for almost 15 years. Like let's move on.
Let the guy rest in peace, man.
The team was absolute dog shit prior to George Steinbrenner getting it. It was easy to improve a shit team. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that he didn't do good. I mean, they went out and got who he wanted and did what he wanted to do. That's why they called him the boss. But like, what more do you want? What do you want Hal Steinbrenner to do? Do you want him to go out and sign 22, and then you want him to go out and sign Sasaki? You want him to go and make sure that we have Otani? Do you want to be the Dodgers? Is that what it is? Like if we're not the Dodgers, we're nothing. Like I don't understand. And then the other reason to it is then you have people talking about like I went and I looked it up because then I'm hearing them say, "Oh, the Yankees are no longer the place where Japanese players want to come and play." I went and I crunched the numbers. The Yankees aren't even in the top 3 places where Japanese players go and sign. You know who's ahead of the? You know who signed more Japanese players than the Yankees?
Who?
The Mets, the Dodgers, Seattle, and Boston. And that's all. That's including former players, current players. Yankees have no current players that are signed from Japan. So the Yankees have signed, I think, 4 players from Japan, and that's including Matsui and Tanaka.
Keigawa, remember him?
I don't. But like, when was this the premier place for Japanese players to go? It's
When
not.
Tanaka and Matsui came here. I guess.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's just it's people reacting to a few years where they got like two great players, and then it's like, oh, we're the greatest play. No, we're not. Every day always been going to the West Coast, or they've been going to Boston or Queens. It's not. We are not the preemptive stop for Japanese players. I don't know why, but you can't sit there and be on a national syndicated radio show saying shit like that when you're just off. You know what I'm saying? Like the Texas Rangers almost have as many Japanese signings as we have. They're
So
one shy of us.
Eric Claria with the chat, I don't know. I can't really decipher this. He says, don't, maybe that's supposed to be think the tax with the Mets. He paid 315 last year. Okay. There's a reason why the Mets aren't spending the way that you thought the Mets were going to spend. Okay. Just because Steve Cohen doesn't want to, he's not doesn't have $14 billion by handing out free money.
He
Okay.
does it because he's a crook, but I digress.
Okay. There you go. Anyway, and people in the comments and in the chat are like, well, Hal's not going to sell. I'm not saying he is going to sell. The question is, should he? Do you more so? Do you want him to? As a fan, do you want him to sell the team? Are you unhappy with Hal Steinbrenner as the owner of the New York Yankees?
Yeah. I don't who's gonna buy the team? That's the other thing. Like what are the people who's gonna buy the team? Alex Rodriguez, Brian Urlacher, and J-Lo, they're gonna run the Yankees.
First of all, here's the thing that people don't understand. And I'm not giving an answer one way or another. I'm looking at the pros and cons of both sides of the argument here. Every time that somebody goes out there and makes a big move and the Yankees are playing with their budget, they're like, "Oh, how's Mr. Luxury Tax over here doesn't want to go over 301. He's penny pinching Hal over here. Hal is cheap. Fucking hate that more than anything. Hal is cheap. Okay, how do you know?" How do you know that if Hal said, fuck all you, I'm taking my $8 billion that I'm going to get for this team, I'm selling it, I don't have to listen to your bullshit anymore. I'm going to sell this team. And the guy that comes in here says, I don't need a $300 million payroll. I can get 3 million people in here by having a $200 million payroll. I
And we
just
would
need to,
show up.
well, I only need to keep one or two stars on this team. You know, have an 85 win team, because I'll make the postseason with 3 wild cards with 85 wins. I don't need to have a $300 million payroll. What if he went to those lengths? The new owner. A new owner could cut payroll because the Yankees have become a brand as much as anything. That you're still going to get the touristy people in there to drive up attendance every summer. That people are coming to America or visiting New York on vacation that just want to go to a Yankee game. They wouldn't know Aaron Judge if he sat on their face. They just want to go to a Yankee game because it's a thing to do, you know? How does a guy can come in here and be like, I don't need a $300 million payroll to get those people in here? It might upset hardcore fans, but what is the real number of people that are going to stop going to Yankee games at that point that's going to negatively impact that guy's bottom line? You don't know that. And we all bitch and complain about Brian Cashman, about how Brian Cashman spends the money. Trust me when I tell you this, you could hire somebody that has less of a clue than Brian Cashman, a guy that is just handing over the reins to somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing. The grass is not always greener. That's why
Green around.
people
I was just
people
gonna
always
say
like,
that.
he's got to sell the team. He's cheap. You can get a cheaper guy in here. You can absolutely get somebody that's cheaper in here and hire the wrong people.
I mean, how many people out there actually hate their hate their boss? And I say this all the time because I've had people that have trouble problems with my boss, and I always tell them you never know what's going to come in and replace him. And how many people have ended up with shittier bosses, or you just come and get somebody that comes in has no idea what they're doing. It's the same exact thing. It's and this equates it to every other thing else. Okay, Cashman. Oh, the second when we're winning, if we're doing good, and then all of a sudden everybody loves Cashman, the All-Star break comes, and then we fall off the face of the earth. Oh, Cashman needs to get fired. Same thing with Boone. Oh, we're winning. Oh, Boone's the greatest thing in the world. It's the same shit. The second that we don't get the premier player, the one everybody's after that year, oh, Steinbrenner sucks. He's cheap.
There's a good portion of Yankee fans that really that thought that Hal Steinbrenner was not even going to get into a pissing contest with Steve Cohen.
And he did.
He did.
And he didn't. Who knows how far that would have gone? He didn't even get a chance to make a final offer
From
to.
what I understand, the Yankees were done at 760.
Well, thank God, because that's would have been like I think we all would have been aggravated.
He offered a guy $750 million to play baseball for him.
For how many years? What's
16.
16? That's insane. That's insane. The guy's gonna be 40 years old and making a shitload of money.
He wasn't bluffing when he said he could do whatever he wanted to do. He wrote that he was willing the guy write a check for $760 million.
No, he put his balls. He hung him out there. He said, "Look at these.
He said, look at these big Steinbrenner balls.
Look at my balls."
And what happened? Steve Cohen was like, you know what? He was in a position to say, I'm not letting this guy go for nothing. And you know what? Good for Hal too. Be like, listen, bro, you don't want to be here. Fuck you then.
You ever watched The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg?
I've seen it a long time ago. Was
Yeah.
John Goodman in that?
John Goodman. Steve Cohen was in a position of fuck you. That's what it is. Steve Cohen needed to go out and he needed to do that because he came, he bought the team, he talked the big talk, and it just wasn't panning out. Verlander blew up in his face and Scherzer blew up in his face. He had to recoup somehow from that, and this is his rebound. He had to do that. There was no way in hell. Cohen was going to go to the end of the world, I imagine, to make sure that 22.
And that's what it was. What if, Yankees 765, Yankees go to 780. Steve Cohen goes to 8. I mean, what we knew, and this is what we all feared, is that Steve Cohen was not going to stop at a number. And Hal said enough is enough. If you don't want to play here for 760, then go chase every last penny. I don't have any problem with the way Hal Steinbrenner handled that negotiation. That was Hal Steinbrenner's legacy to me. And did he get the guy? No, but he also showed you the lengths he was willing to go get him.
Yeah. I mean, that's good for the players union. The players union wants to see that money. The owners don't want to see that money. So to them, they're probably all pissed off at Steve Cohen, I'd imagine, because that just sets up the next guy. Because the next guy is going to make more money.
Then
That's what's going to
and
happen.
he gave $200 million to Max Fried.
Yeah.
I mean,
from what I read about that too, that was Max Fried saying, "I just want to have the record-breaking number." And what they broke it, but they beat it
and
by
they broke it
by $1 million or $2 million. Hey, he said,
That's
"All right, cool."
okay, listen to that. Listen to that right there. Hal's cheap. Hal is cheap, right? This motherfucker sat in a negotiation with Hal Steinbrenner and said, I'll sign with you if you break this record. And Hal could have said, go fuck yourself. Who are you? He said, okay, let's break it. Let's get you here.
Boom. Here's my nuts.
You guys don't appreciate a lot of what Hal Steinbrenner does because, Aaron Judge really wanted to be here. Yeah, he did want to be here. But guess what? When he calls Hal Steinbrenner in this offseason of 2022 and says, keep me here while Hal's on vacation in Italy, Hal could have said, I offered you 200 and whatever $million. You didn't take it. Goodbye. He said, what's the number? What's the number to keep you here? And Aaron said 360 over 9. Boom, done. Our captain is here. Broke a record. You want? Oh, look, I'm not going to say anything nasty about him after that. You know I'm a big Garrett Cole guy. This team fucking desperately needed an ace for how many years? Since CC Sabathia fell off that off that branch. And as much as we love Tanaka, was never really grew to be the ace. Always a solid number 2, right?
And Severino didn't pan out to
And Severino never panned out. What did you need to do to get Garrett Cole in the building? Break another fucking record. And he did that.
Here's my nuts.
I mean, yeah, he treats that 301 like a hard number, like a hard salary cap. And it's a lot of, and I guarantee you, if that number got pushed back, Hal would push that number. Because he's not dumb also. He's like, well, why do I have to give this guy free money? I'm the one out here fucking spending. I got to give him more money to not spend?
Yeah.
Your biggest problem, my biggest problem with Hal Steinbrenner is his refusal to get rid of Brian Cashman.
Yeah.
And granted, I think Brian Cashman had a hell of an offseason. And again, truly believe this. Does not mean blowing smoke, because why do I have to? The Yankees have done as good of a job as could have been expected in this market after losing that player. And a lot of that has to do with Brian Cashman. And you all want to shit on Brian Cashman. Guess what the Dodgers were going to do? Trade for Devin Williams. Guess who stuck his fucking nose in there at the last minute and said, no, I want him? Brian Cashman did that. Okay. Did you want Tanner Scott over Devin Williams? That's a different argument. Okay. But, the Dodgers were closing in on a trade for Devin Williams. Brian Cashman got on the phone and said, no, 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 I want him. Let's sweeten the deal. He gets Devin Williams. So again, there's two sides to every coin here. What is the legitimate argument for Hal Steinbrenner selling the team? He doesn't care. He obviously cares enough to do the things that we just talked about.
I mean, he
right?
cares. That's how he gets his friggin' yacht in Italy. Of course he cares.
Oh, he treats the Yankees like a business. He fucking better.
It is a business.
He better treat the Yankees
What?
like a business. What good are the Yankees to any of us? What are they good to Hal Steinbrenner if he's losing money on
If
that?
they're not generating money, we don't have anybody. And now listen, we should thank God all the time that we never got to see the shit Yankees and all that stuff. What happens when they don't have any revenue? A hot dog ain't $12 no more. Now it's $22. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
My problem with Hal Steinbrenner has never been the amount of money that he puts into this team. The Yankees are constantly top 2 or 3 in the payroll. You want to say it should be one? Fine, to make that argument, I don't care. He puts more than enough resources into this team to have a championship caliber team on the field every year. He didn't pay Wash Donaldson $50 million. Brian Cashman did that. And then that's where your problem with Hal Steinbrenner comes into focus, because he keeps this guy on the payroll to give guys like Wash Donaldson $50 million. Gio
Urshela's good, but he's no Wash Donaldson.
The Yankees.
Hal needs to. That's where it is. Hal needs to get rid of the people he's comfortable with and bring people in that are more competent. I mean, Brian Cashman, I'm not going to say he's terrible, whatever, whatnot, but he's a dinosaur. Get him the fuck out of here.
The Yankees, that's another argument. Oh, he's not his dad. Who is? Are you your dad? Am I my dad? No, he's a different person. And you know what? Those are graduation goggles, or you look upon somebody differently after they're gone. You choose to ignore the bad shit about him. Remember how George was banned from baseball because he was trying to blackmail Dave Winfield because he regretted that contract that he gave him? You remember that? Remember how he wanted to trade Mariano Rivera for a fucking defensive shortstop because he didn't think Derek Jeter was ready? Do you remember all of this? It wasn't all great with George either. But, fans remember that George owned the team. When George owned the team, they won 7 world titles. The Yankees were the laughing stock of baseball until George got here. He takes over the team. They're in the World Series in 76 and then win 2 in a row. And then we went through some really tough times because George was just a fucking madman until he got away from the team and Stick Michael was allowed to implement his vision. The Yankees need Stick Michael. Obviously, they can't have him. He's gone. Rest in peace. They need that. They need somebody to take over the organization. They need Brian Cashman's replacement, and they need the financial backing of Hal Steinbrenner. The organization has gotten stale in the sense that Brian Cashman's way of doing things isn't up to par with the way baseball is played nowadays. And maybe they've changed that a little bit in some of the guys that they've targeted this offseason. But that's what the Yankees need to do. They don't need a new owner.
No. And they need to get rid of Cashman too, because how obnoxious is it if you fall asleep during like the 9th inning of a game and you wake up to Brian Cashman's daughter interviewing Aaron Boone about his number? Like, go away. All of But it's It's mistake after mistake with him. Cashman's on like a short leash. This season, this off season, I have nothing to complain about. He's doing what he has to do, but it's all the previous things, that the comments he made. He's an arrogant prick sometimes. He's like a shitty politician. Just the way he said, I understand Giancarlo Stanton's going to get hurt, and we all expect it, but you don't sit there and say he's going to get hurt. It's part of his game.
Yeah,
Like that's
and then he had a historic postseason and waved that Dig Bick right in everybody's face.
right. So I would love nothing more than 20 years from now for Giancarlo Stanton to write an autobiography or something like that and say that whole season, that whole postseason was just a big fuck you to Brian Cashman. That was his motivation.
Yeah, Hal needs to get a ring. He needs to have a ring as a sole, as the guy, as the owner, as the guy that signs the checks. He needs that. Nobody's, we're giving him some. It seems like we're giving him his flowers here, but what he's done in his tenure here as the owner is not good enough. But the argument is that fans are saying, "Oh, he's so cheap. He doesn't invest enough." Yeah, fuck you. He does invest enough resources into the team. And 22 people are like, look at the team in 22. Well, when you are unwilling to go over 301, you're unwilling to go over that number, right? Whatever it was at, because I think it might fluctuate for me. I'm not sure. Okay. But when your GM hands $25 million to a guy that can't fucking play baseball anymore,
Yeah.
that's what you get. You
You
know,
know,
and 2023 was 2023 because Aaron Judge ran into a wall in Los Angeles and they didn't have the resource, they didn't have the players to cover for that. And that's why you go out there and you make the trades for, with San Diego like you did last year. So you have backup plans.
but not, and the people aren't realizing either. Like they're watching the Dodgers do all this shit, but what's going to happen when all those contracts hit? They're gonna have to be
The current ownership group of the Dodgers is probably not planning on owning the Dodgers as long as it's going to take to pay off the contracts.
no, but they're all gonna hit at a certain point, and they're gonna have to be like non-existent and disappear from baseball for a while till those salaries go away. I mean, I'm sure the luxury tax will be raised, but when it's because the players union is always going to try to raise that because they want to make more money, and that's the way it goes. So, but there's no way in hell that their model is sustainable. I mean, I guess, but like, there's going to be
I honestly think they're just going to let it be somebody else's problem. When that comes to fruition, they're just going to be like, Dodgers are for sale.
because just the money that they don't fucking show you. Look, they're almost up to $1.5 billion in deferred money. That's insane. We talk about spending $15 on a friggin' baseball card. These guys are spending $15 million on a person. And I get pissed off if my card has a dent in it. Imagine your $40 million guy running through a fucking gate in Dodgers outfield. I'd be pissed. So, Hal Steinbrenner mitigates his risk. He's not putting his whole entire ass out there. They're still assembling a really good team that should be very interesting to watch. And they're not amassing $1.5 billion in deferred money to do it.
I would honestly, and I'll say this for Hal Steinbrenner, I would love to see him without any type of penalties for spending more money. I would honestly love to see it.
I would like to see them win, no penalties, and he could say, "Fuck you. Here's my big hairy balls. I did it."
I think we've seen enough out of Hal Steinbrenner to know that there are things that he's willing to do and there's things that he's not willing to do. And it's frustrating as a fan, and I get it. I get this argument. It's frustrating as a fan that he is only willing to go to 301. He's not willing to pay that tax after a year that we were just in the World Series and we're losing. We lost the guy that finished third in the MVP voting, and we haven't really replaced him with a comparable player on the offensive side. And we need a fucking third baseman. And you can't go and re-sign Tim Hill because you can't get rid of Marcus Stroman. I get the frustration level and all that. But who's the idiot that signed Marcus Stroman in the first place? And then, it's like You ever do the Goosebumps pick your own story and then you get to the point and it would send you all the way to the back to the beginning of the book? Well, that's where we are now. We're all the way back to the beginning of the book here. That's your problem with Hal Steinbrenner.
I just
He continually employs Brian Cashman.
those books were awesome, and I forgot all about those.
You know, kids, I don't know, I forget who the sixth grade teacher was. She's probably gone by the time you got there. But we had 10 minutes of reading in English class every day, and we had to read a book. And it was like, oh, she initially didn't want to let Goosebumps be the book, but then enough people were like, "Oh, well, we love Goosebumps," so then she allowed them. But then she didn't allow the ones where you got to pick your own story because kids were cheating and finding whichever way took them to the end of the book fastest.
They came out with the shows, and I've been watching them with Sophia, and
With David Schwimmer,
that one sucked. It wasn't that great. The first one was actually pretty good. I actually liked it. So
I
now
hate David Schwimmer, by the way. He's the reason I don't watch Friends.
I have Ross Loves Rachel tattooed on my leg.
I wish you never told me that.
And a heart like it's carved on a tree.
Why? Why would you do that?
It came out of a vending machine. It was one of those pay. It was an experience. I did it. I don't regret it.
Okay, so there you go. Now you just, I have no words. I have no words. I'm replacing you as co-host. My daughter's gonna have a new godfather.
Oh man. I don't know. They're everything that's happened this offseason with the Yankees, I don't really have many negatives to say about it. Obviously, Tim Hill is a big sore thumb, that's right out there. Stroman needs to go, we know that, but they haven't signed a Wash Donaldson yet. You hope not. You hope Goldschmidt's able to destroy it. Your mic's off, by the way. Your mic's off. Your mic's off. Uh-oh. Now what do you do? Oh man.
No, there it goes.
There it
I don't even
goes.
know how I hit that button. So, as FL Driver is saying in the chat right now, which is what I brought up earlier, is that the grass isn't always greener. And Oriole fans wanted the team sold. Team was sold, and they haven't spent any money. They didn't do shit this offseason. Santander walked. Corbin Burns walked. There's a team with all this young talent. What have they done? Where's the money that they're spending?
Yeah, what's gonna happen to all that young talent when they come and they come up for free agency? They're all gonna walk. They're not gonna stay there.
So let's see. Let's read a couple comments here from our buddy Chris Vitale here says, Howe should not only sell, he should buy the Dodgers and subject their fans to the bullshit we've had to deal with. Okay. We dealt
But
with
he
a lot
won't because he won't spend the money.
Right. He doesn't he won't go out there and sign a third baseman. You think he's gonna buy the Dodgers? No, I like Chris. I get he's trying to be funny there. I'm just not sure what the bullshit is. Again, the Yankees can have multiple championships with the money that they have invested into this team if the team was built better, if the money was invested better. That's my take. That's where I am at right now.
They should have won this past year had they played properly. That's on them. Like we said it before, it's not taking it away from the Dodgers. They won, but the Yankees helped beat themselves. That this was Hal's year.
If they are still propping up Brian Cashman as the GM, like the guy that just ran the country for the last 4 years, okay,
I don't know.
into his 80s, then yeah, we have a real problem here. Okay, but I hope that's not going to be the case. I really don't think that that's going to happen. But again, that's where again, you guys might be saying, "Shut up! You said this over and over again." But again, that's where my problem is with Hal Steinbrenner. Get a new general manager. Get out of your comfort zone. How uncomfortable did you feel negotiating with Scott Boras and offering a guy $760 million? I know that you felt uncomfortable. I know you got to change your underwear a couple of times there. Do that with the guy that is in charge of your baseball team. Do that with the guy that picks the players for you.
I feel like if you're making the argument that Hal Steinbrenner should sell the team, you probably were making the same argument that Aaron Judge should have been sat during the playoffs to teach him what it means to be a whatever, because it's irrational.
Oh my God, Li, you got some set of balls on you, my friend. As I said earlier, to say that this question was the dumbest thing you ever heard asked, while you're actively in the chat saying that how Brian Cashman's daughter, who's what 23 years old, is going to be the next general manager of the Yankees.
The fuck out of here.
You got some set of balls on you, my friend, to sit there and say anything anybody else mentions is stupid by bringing that up. And we've all seen your trade proposals. And now I'm going back to not giving you any attention, okay? Because that's what we need to do more of, is not give you any attention. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that Gracie Cashman is going to be the GM of the Yankees at 25 years old because she interviewed Aaron Boone and told some anecdotes about how he got to pick his number. Get the oh my!
She gave anecdotes. I didn't even watch that much of it to get that out of it.
I don't know. Wasn't it like 19 was also the number of times that you took your wife to
Couldn't fucking tell you because I legit paid that.
like
little
that's
attention to it.
that's some of the things that they did on that show. I think is like, Aaron, your number is 19. But wasn't that also the number of times that you took your wife to Chili's while you were dating?
See if I were interviewing him, I'd be like, so how does it feel to have your wife have done as Playboy centerfold? That's what I want to know. How does he deal with that?
I think he's excited about that.
I just asked off the wall questions. How does it feel that every man in America probably Googles your wife naked?
I've done that 0 times because I just don't have the interest in
I'll
seeing
send
her.
it. I have, and I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
She's hot. Was. Still is.
And that's my problem with Aaron Boone. I want to know. I want the guy in my dugout that courted and married a Playboy Playmate. Where's that guy?
Exactly.
Where's that guy? That takes a set of balls on somebody to go up there and have the confidence to be like, I'm going to fucking take home a Playboy Playmate tonight. Where's that guy in my dugout?
Yeah.
Let's see what Bo Sheck has to say here. He says, of course Hal should sell. I don't see any other option. Hal is emotionally 100% out, refuses to fire anybody in the front office. The organization is stale, and lucky Judge wanted to stay because Judge is masking Hal's organization not being the CBS Yankees, which is, Bo, I appreciate you being a listener of the show, but I wholeheartedly disagree with you on a lot of options there. What are the other options? Well, like we said, we just mentioned the Orioles got sold and they're not spending any money either. A guy can come in here and slash the payroll because he knows it's still going to be a tourist attraction. You know, Hal's lucky Judge wanted to stay. As I mentioned earlier, he could have told him, hey, I offered you a contract. You said no. Goodbye.
How about Judge is lucky that he got to be a homegrown Yankee?
I mean, you guys, again, I understand your frustration, bro. I really do. I see you tweeting about it every day. Like, I'm not blind to it. I'm not saying that you're off base in a lot of things that you say, but again, things can always be worse. And I don't think we really have it that bad. Again, yeah, we haven't won going on 16 years now, and that's what everybody's going to bring to it. He hasn't won a World Series. I get it. Trust me. I'm just as frustrated with that part of it as you guys, but the owner has one goal, or not one goal, has one job as the owner: put money into the team. How could you be truly upset to a man now and to a woman here? I'm not discriminating, to a person. You could truly be upset with the amount of money that's been invested in this team over the last 10 years. You could be what I'm really truly pissed off about: not getting Bryce Harper in a year that the Yankees told you, they had to reset the tax, and then they've been over every year. Okay, they did do that year. We can't say they didn't. They did, and that really still pisses me off to this day that they didn't get Bryce Harper. That guy would have sold his grandmother on 42nd Street for a nickel to be a Yankee, and you didn't even have a conversation with him. That still pisses me off. But the money is not spent well. That's what the problem is. Still, but Aaron Hicks, we don't have a third baseman. We don't have Tim Hill. Aaron Hicks is still on the payroll this year. There
I
it is.
uh, uh, I hate that name. That should be another name that should be banned because that name just gives me the. Where is he? He's not even in the league anymore, is he?
No, he's a free agent currently.
Yeah, but did he even play last year, or he played like two
No,
games last year? I think.
he was somewhere. I think he was with the Angels for part of the team, part of the year at least. I don't know.
I think he played like two games. But like, oh my God.
And Christopher M. and then Ed Breen basically what Christopher M. says, nah, he should fire Cashman if they can't win with a $300 million payroll. I mean, I think are we in agreement on that part?
$300 million is a lot of friggin' money.
And Ed Breen says he should sell the guy who spends his money like shit for, I mean, he should sell Brian Cashman. Could you imagine, what could you get for Brian Cashman? $20 in some Ruts Hut? Could you get Ruts Hut for Brian Cashman? Could you get a couple all the way down?
You couldn't get hot grill. It's too expensive now.
So I mean, that's I don't know. I think it was a fun debate. I think it's interesting to look at. I don't think it's so black and white where fans are like, "Oh, he sucks. He's cheap. He should sell the team." It's not. No, because there's a lot of money invested into the New York Yankees. There could be, and like I said, if somebody comes along here and buys the team, even are you frozen or just what are you
No,
doing?
I'm here.
Oh, you do that statute thing.
Oh, that's when I get deep in thought and I'm listening to.
Okay. You know, Hal's biggest sin as the owner is his refusal to fire his best friend or his other brother, basically.
His consigliere.
That's what he is. Hal's the Don, and he's got a shitty consigliere right now. He's
Yeah.
no he's no Silvio Dante, Brian Cashman.
No, he's Fredo. Frodo.
Yeah, Bob's in the chat saying they have partners. Yeah, he's got partners, but all he really has to do is go to his sister and say, "Do you want to sell the team? Yes or no?"
Yeah, but they're I was actually looking this up for because I wanted to know how many they have like two or three minority holders, and the rest is just the Steinbrenners.
His partners are his brother or his sisters. I mean, you think they're going to go against Hal if Hal's he's like, "Hey, I got a check for $9 billion. You guys want to get out of this?"
Yeah. Magic Johnson's a 2% owner of the Dodgers.
And maybe and there's something that there to keep them connected to their dad. But I mean, $9 billion is when he bought the team for 10 million.
130 something thousand was the original his original buy-in. Like, talk about stepping in shit.
You know how many people I see on X complaining about how Steinbrenner should sell the team and then are complaining about how X is since Elon bought it, but then want Elon to buy the Yankees?
I don't know who else could buy the Yankees. It'd be Elon Musk, it'd be Jeff Bezos, or it's gonna be some gigantic. It's gonna be a holding group that's tied to the stock market, all that shit, or it's gonna be some insane invest. It's gonna be A-Rod, J-Lo, Brian Urlacher, and whoever else they're friends with. And then imagine them all trying to get together and run the Yankees.
Who's a billionaire super fan like Steve Cohen that could buy
Martha
the
Stewart. Martha Stewart's gonna buy the team.
You
She
want
goes-
Hillary
I see her there opening day every year.
You want Hillary Clinton to buy the Yankees?
God no. Making pantsuits great again. She wears pinstripes all the time. Maybe she would want to.
I still call it Twitter. Sometimes I call it X. I'm trying to be more up to date with the times here, but I don't say I still say tweet though all the time. It's a tweet. It's always going to be a tweet no matter what.
Yeah, there's no one out. The Yankees are they're so expensive. Who's gonna buy them?
But again, it's not really who can buy the Yankees or does Hal want to sell a team. It's I'm trying to gauge what the fans want to do here. Are you unhappy with Hal as the owner? And honestly, if he would fucking just feel a little uncomfortable, a little bit, and be like, listen, you could still come over for Thanksgiving, okay? but you can't run my team anymore. I feel a lot better about Hal Steinbrenner as the owner of this team. I really would.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he sucks because he didn't want to give somebody a suite and a clothing whatever the hell for his mother. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you this 100%. And Pete said this in the chat, and he's 100% right. And that's why I'm repeating it here for everybody to hear. If Hal Steinbrenner put a for sale sign in the New York Yankees, that team would be sold. There would people
Absolutely.
be lining up to buy the Yankees. They would. You think it's hard to come up with $9 billion for? Yeah, it's not going to be that hard to come up with $9 billion when the Yankees are for fucking sale.
Yeah, it just turns into who's going to buy it.
And again, is that going to be better than the current situation that we're in?
No, Elon Musk buys it. He's going to go and he's going to try to fire half the friggin' staff, the analytic team, and he's going to make, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's going to happen.
You want TKO to buy the Yankees, and then we could have, at this instead of the seventh inning stretch, The Rock comes out and rock bottoms the opposing pitcher.
I really tried watching Raw on Netflix the other day, and it really was ass.
It's
That's
gonna.
that's look, that's just prime example. Something gets bought and they change the entire product around, and it looked cheap as shit to me. How that's perfect example. People go
I
out.
think you have a. I don't think you have a good example because that organization is way better run now than it was even a few
Nah, it
years.
looks like cheap shit. Cheap shit. I have a bigger TV in my basement than they walked out from behind the other day.
Yeah, but do you know that fans actually like that better?
Well,
They
I think
like they like the toned down presentation. And also you want to know what less staging does?
more people.
There's more people in the arena.
All right, that's fine, but how many people hate it? You know what I'm saying? It's some people like it, some people hate it. So you're
Did
gonna
you just get $500 billion or whatever it was to not 500 billion? Did you just sign $1 billion deal to stream your show on Netflix?
no, I sell neon signs and I make lots of money.
So I can't really just because they put some ads on the ring, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a bad move. I have to say the product in the in-ring product and the presentation of the show has gotten infinitely better in the last 2 years. Just because you don't like a smaller stage and some ads on the canvas, that isn't going to change that.
Oh, some ads on the canvas. Everybody freaked out because the Yankees put an ad on their on their jersey.
And do you even notice it anymore?
No, but that's what they're gonna do. So, oh, let's sell the team. Oh, let's put some ads on it. Now they could grow mustache, beards, and all that stuff. And then the Yankees aren't the Yankees anymore. That's what this is what I'm getting at. This is what I foresee would happen.
Richie wants to know who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble. For the women, I think it's probably a slam dunk that Charlotte Flair is going to win. I can't really see anybody else coming out of that side. And for the men, there's multiple options. Can you really see Roman Reigns not winning it? CM Punk's a favorite. Does John Cena get his WrestleMania title match through the Elimination Chamber? I mean, take one of those three guys. That's where I'd probably be on the men's side.
Did you watch Ricky Stenicki with John Cena?
I did.
That shit was great.
I didn't hate it.
I like John Cena in that. Did you ever watch John Cena in Peacemaker on HBO?
I've not seen
Oh
Peacemaker.
my God. It's probably my favorite superhero thing to watch. Like I nerd out watching it. Like
But
him
yeah,
and
no, I didn't hate Ricky Stenicki at all.
John
No.
Cena's The Rock ended up being a pretty good actor, and John Cena, depending on where you put him, is pretty good. It's all the other guys that have tried have pretty much failed.
I don't know. Dave Batista lost 150 pounds and wants to do serious acting now.
He
So
sucks. Everything he's in, he sucks. Unless he's talking about his nipples chafing in the friggin' Guardians of the Galaxy. Ooh.
I
And he
don't think
doesn't want to do that anymore.
I saw Stuber. Did you see Stuber
No.
with the Uber driver?
No.
And he plays like an assassin. I don't know if he plays like an assassin or something.
Was it the Batista in it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wouldn't have watched it because I just can't stand him. He did that stupid zombie movie too, and it was like, oh, it's okay, and then it was like, oh, he sucks. He sucks.
All right, I guess. All right, we're done here if we're talking about fucking Batista movies. So if you're still in the chat tonight, thank you very much. And please like this video, subscribe to NYY Underground. Make sure that you're out at the Audi Club and get your tickets here for March 29th. Should be Max Fried's debut. NYYST is officially going to be there. We picked up our tickets this weekend. I'm excited to see everybody out at the Audi Club on March 29th, which will be Saturday, the second game of the year. Like we said, I'm anticipating that being Max Fried's debut. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, now hit the pause button. I don't know. Can you like on your? I don't think you can like on podcasts, but you can definitely subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating and review. And tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. We want to thank everybody for their continued support of the podcast and NYY Underground. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 445. Sem, say goodbye.
Batista bomb, Hal Steinbrenner.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. Bought a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text. From